Check. Welcome to the SPS podcast. You are now tuned in. I'm your host and moderator, DJ Strata, and you are now tapped into the Raw Bunch. Ladies, what's up with you?
What's up?
Brittany, what you up to?
Just picking up my daughter from her dance. So they got out early. So I was like, let me go ahead and hop on.
Dance or prom?
It's dance. She ain't but in 5th grade.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember them days. Bonnie Jones still DJing?
I think he gave that up a minute ago.
Okay.
But see, we over here in Greenville, so he probably wouldn't travel that far no way.
You know him, I started to say. And a gig too far. That's what
Right,
it
right,
is. Make sure you're
right.
safe. Make sure you're safe. Jalen, what's up with you?
You can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
How's your day?
Good. Did 4 days of workouts this week, so
That's what the fuck I'm talking about, bro. The consistency is what it is.
I
That's exactly where it's at. I'm proud of you,
mm,
my little young
thank you.
Padawan. That's what's up. That's what's up. I have officially been up for 24 hours.
Why?
Just didn't get no sleep.
You
I
don't
make
f-
sure.
you don't
What you say?
feel like you're hallucinating at all?
Nah, not yet. I haven't had any hallucinations yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sleep great after this show, though. You could believe that shit. But like I said, man, we're gonna tap in. The show will and must go on. I think CJ will be popping in a little later. Safe travels of Bino on the way. I don't know about Wardy and Kiki. We'll see what the night holds. But without further ado, we're gonna get straight to it, man. Tonight's show and episode will be Unmasking Lies. Are you clueless about your truth? So, what prompted this show? I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of scouring around, looking at like what was fresh to talk about. Didn't really feel like getting back into the Tory Lanez thing. He had some new developments to happen, but that didn't really pique my interest, right? Because it'd have been more opinion than us just watching videos on things we already saw. So I stumbled into this by just thinking. Um, it's kind of like what I think is happening in the black community, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. I think that we're getting to a place to where we have shifted who we are and what we think so much that we are now lost to what our true nature is, what our true thoughts are. I think that you got split in the community a couple of different ways. I think you got people, black people that are trying to be validated by other black people. I think you got black people that are trying to be identified by other ideas. And I think you have black people that really care about the Eurocentric person. So in my mind, I'm trying to figure out, and hopefully by the end of this podcast, we can nail it down. What causes these triggers? Like what actually causes people to react and do the things that they do? Like what's the motivation behind it all? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Free Zone. He said, I don't know, Strata. I know you. What do you say? I know you thought you was hearing things earlier, crazy things, wild things. Yeah, shout out to the This Might Be Risky Discord, man. If you haven't, go check out the latest episode of TNBR. I was a guest on it. It was a dope conversation, man. Some real solid brothers. We walked down some talking points and, just try to make sense of it all. But it was a great show. Discord is definitely lit. This Might Be Risky Discord, man. It's a great community of black people, man. We talk about ideas, innovation things, events coming up. So if you haven't, make sure you tap in. But yeah, bro, we're going to get straight to it. We're going to try to get to the bottom of what. Now, I guess I could ask you first, Jalen. What do you think is a uncomfortable truth that most black people hide about who they truly are?
Why you pick me first? Um,
Because I figured Brittany was doing something. Turn the
It
camera on.
was. I mean, well, why she thinking? I mean, only thing I can think of with people sometimes they're not. How can I say it? They don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they got social media, so many things trying to that influence them. So they probably try to lean towards whatever's trending, and they might not even know who they truly are themselves.
Do you think that I want to ask this next question? So, based on people being influenced by social media, what do you think are some of the trends that we probably as a black people need to let go of?
Trends to let go of. Ooh, okay. I mean, I know a lot of this stuff is gonna be like vanity and vain. I mean, like
Cool.
I mean, I'm gonna just start with the women, like all these like crazy ass eyelashes. You know, they 3 inches hanging off your face. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Yeah.
I don't.
That shit is kind of crazy.
Right, like the makeup, like they just going overboard. I've watched a few of them. Like, you don't need that much makeup on to make yourself pretty. Like, most of those girls are already pretty anyway, but all the steps they put, I'm like, that is just too much. So that's just one that just popped in my head.
Mm. You want to know what's fucked up? And this is a good one, but I think that it speaks to how easily we're influenced. I love the boots on the ground movement because I think it's dope.
I
But
almost said that, but I ain't.
you know what I'm saying? I know people like, nah, you talking about boots on the ground. Shout out to CJ, stop flexing to impress broke people. That's a fact, bro. But with the boots on the ground, I think that what they're doing the line dances ain't bad, but I think that it speaks to how trendy we are. And you got motherfuckers that still ain't got the electric slide down pack running to get cowboy boots and fucking fans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I just think it's a thing.
Yeah,
To
I mean, I
where,
think
you know what I'm
it's
saying?
over, but it's overboard at this point. Almost every song now that's out, they are making a line dance to it. Like,
Yeah,
back in our day, it was maybe 3 songs that were line dance,
that's a
and you know,
fact.
you did that, and after that, you set your ass down and cook out and eat the food. Now you gonna be up, you're gonna be up the whole time, stomping and swinging and spinning because every time a song come on, you be like, oh dang, that's another song somebody done created, you know. So yeah, it's just overkill at this point.
You know what? I think that's probably my issue, Brittany. I don't think it's so much as the line dance as the pattern of behavior, which is something gets trendy, right? We jump on it at first and we put
Right,
our soul into it, as we always do. But then
right,
I think we just oversaturate shit.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I
right.
think that's the part that is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
And
saying? It's like, I don't know.
right. And then for us, given the fact that we from the country, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody had made a TikTok, y'all want the country boots on it, but y'all don't want to be country. You know what I'm saying? You got the
That
boots
part.
on.
No, that's some funny shit, but it's true though. I don't know, man. I think that could be a little dangerous, man. I think that mentalities, with so many YouTube channels popping up and
Mm-hmm.
ideals, I think that can be deadly. I
Right.
think that sometimes we consume information as a people almost to no end, and I think it can cause analysis paralysis. Um, we're lacking application in things that we actually need to be learning. But I get it. This can come off as boring to some.
Mm-hmm.
It's not salacious, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
still think it's important.
Right.
But I'm totally with it. Jalen, what do you think are some things that the black community can put down in terms of mentality? What things that you see? What do you think influences us that shapes the way we think?
Um, I would have to say the way we learn Black history.
Tell me more.
Um, I would say I'm a public school kid, so my
Yeah.
mom didn't teach me about Black history, you know. So I
Um,
got I got most of my like Black history education from the public school system, which obviously the playbook is we were slaves, everything was bad, we got beat, uh, you know, we had to read books about Jim Crow. And every time a slavery video was played in my classroom, all the white kids would look at the black kids in the room, aka me. So,
Damn.
um, it really shapes the way you think when you're young as a black person about black people.
Mhm.
Um, that we're victims and that there's no way we could ever be successful because there's somebody just keeping us down constantly. I think
Um,
that shapes how black people think.
you think it starts there with the victimhood? You think that's the earliest example of like the victim mentality?
Um, I think so, or at least at least for me, I don't have like a experience before that where I felt like, oh, this is a black experience.
Mm.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like I was just a regular ass kid. I didn't see black, white, nothing. I was just a kid.
That makes sense. I think I think I have to agree with you. I think that I think my mom's did a pretty decent job of exposing us to black culture. But I know that it helped that we grew up in a large and heavily populated black area. So I think that that helped at least form what I saw culture to be prior to the Black History months. To your point, waiting on school to tell me about myself and our ancestors. But I will say that being in an environment that was mainly black growing up, like through schools and stuff, I do think that I didn't realize the benefits till I got older. And like you said, you be around people, excuse me, you're around more people, and you realize that how unique that is and how rare it is. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's 44 million of us, we're scattered throughout the South and by the coast, by the different coasts, I think that you'd be surprised at how little they congregate and how small their subsects are in other parts of the world that ain't like heavily black when we talk about the United States. So I totally agree. I think that a lot of the nuances that we learned or I learned growing up came from being around so many black people, so many different archetypes of black people. What you think, Brittany? Am I off?
No, I agree.
Yeah, that's some real shit. Shout out to Free Zone. He says, stop having a reactionary identity. Be more proactive about who you are and what you do. I think that's a fact, bro. I totally agree with that, Lou. I think that back to Jalen's original point, if the victimhood starts in elementary school, I can see how it almost frames your mind to always react. So that makes sense. I think that tracks well.
Like, like I don't know if you think about it, every minority group, for the way it's taught in history, was done bad by Europeans or white people.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly brainwashing or indoctrinating, I won't say brainwashing, indoctrinating kids with that type of historical timeline, at some point they're going to kind of internalize that psychologically. Even if we're not like trying to internalize it, and it becomes like a race division.
That's a bar. So if you all right, Jalen, so based on your experience, right?
Hmm.
If you have a parents that are raising a little girl in a maybe a more predominantly white uh environment, what do you think are some tips that probably would have helped empower you prior to just it being introduced and dumped on you in slavery? What do you think would have helped or could have helped?
Just having more positive representation of our history, um, outside of Martin Luther King and everything else they teach kids. Um, I think having a direct representation of our history that I could like, it's a tangible example. It's
Mm-hmm.
not something I'm just reading in a book. I think that probably would have helped. Um,
I like that. I think that's something I'm thinking about doing with my daughter. She's becoming of age, and so I think getting to that museum in DC is like at the top of my priority list because I think she understands the concept of black, right? But I still think that at that age she's so literal that I just want to make sure that it's instilled, it's enrooted in her who she is and what it means. But I think she's intelligent enough to get it now. But I always wonder about that, like when raising your kids, what do you do to prepare them for the actual world as black people? Like, yeah, I know we talking about the example of identity, but like, how do you prepare them outside of just identifying as black? Like, how are you supposed to send them out in the world today? Is my
You send them out as cultured as possible.
okay.
Don't let the school system, don't just let their friends, don't just let them be the teachers of your child. A lot of parents tend to neglect the fact that your responsibility is also to educate your child outside of, morality. You have to teach them about where they come from, the positive parts. Because if you leave it up to the school system, they're just gonna learn what they're taught.
Damn, that's some
Most
ball.
kids now, they don't, yeah, they have social media, but depending on their algorithm, they're probably not gonna get positive representation there either.
Mm. Damn, what you think, Britt?
Yeah, I agree. Because again, when you got black males, I got two sons. I mean, granted, we're teaching where they're from, but we also have to prepare them what they're gonna be up against out here in the world as well. My son is driving, so you tell them all the stuff while you're driving, what doing after you get stuck. I'm like, these are things that you think that we shouldn't have to have conversation because I don't believe any other culture or race is doing what we have to do for our sons out here and daughters. So just preparing them for real life shit because yes, we can teach them the good, but we make sure they know the bad as well because clearly anything can happen. And I don't want to say, dang, did nobody prepare me for that?
Got you. Have your sons ever bought you a scenario or a situation that kind of shocked you, Brittany? I know this is a personal question, but I think you get what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, when he was in elementary school, my son, well, I'm be honest, my son thought I was white. He said my mom's white, my dad is black, and I'm brown because his dad is dark skin and I'm a lighter complexion.
It's
He's kind of like
cute.
in the middle. So
Yeah.
that's what he thought when he was a child. So I explained to him like, no, your mom's not white. I'm black. I said that our race has different shades of color, but so he was at school. He actually, I guess, was liking. I'm just saying liking, but probably just friendly with one of the white girls there. Because at the time, before we moved to Greenville, he was in a predominantly white school. I mean, their school was inside a community where they rode bikes. Like they rode bikes to school, and the parents walked them and everything. So I approached the teacher about something completely different. And then she's gonna come tell me, well, he's also been talking to Sarah and putting her his arm around her. And I'm like, where is this coming from? I'm asking you about grades.
Right.
And you bringing up this. And I'm like, if that's a problem, then you should have said something. But if Sarah's not having an issue, sound like the teacher had an issue with it. So that right there was my first eye opener. And I was like, because again, he's my oldest. I'm just all giddy. Like, yeah, my son. Like, and I was like, okay, reality setting in. Like, this is what we're doing. So that was brought to me by the teacher. And then another time, uh, I asked my kids how was school, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." So I called. I think he said, he "Called someone like, yeah, hey nigga, what's up?" or something like that. And I was like, "Hold on." I was like, "What color is he?" I'm like, because I'm like,
Like,
you
no,
can't.
that shit matters. That's a fact.
I was like, "What color is that?" He was like, "Peach." I said, "Oh shit." I was like, "I'm gonna get a phone call."
Right.
Because he didn't say. I said, "White?" He's like, "More like peach." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I'm gonna get a phone call because so like little stuff like that again that kids don't think nothing of. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't say those words. You can't do that. So I mean, it's comical now, but back then I was like, damn, I'm gonna get called the principal office. That's right.
That's funny. Do they remember those stories?
You know what? I'm about to ask him when I get off this pod and see.
Yeah. Because I'd be curious to see, like, with their older brains, how they process that, or if they even remember it.
Right.
Because I think that, far too often, and that's something that I think I like what we do up here. This is something I want to slow down to, is trying to speak too broadly for those that actually have a voice.
Hmm.
Right. So yeah, I'm a black man, but I ain't been a black teenage boy in some years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that
Mhm.
there has been a shift where I can speak to the mentality of being a black man, but I think that I want to start delving a little deeper into, what their current world looks like. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Does that make sense?
Right. Mhm.
Without assuming, because I don't know if the truths that they have were the same truths I got at their age. I would probably imagine it's different as hell.
Yeah.
So we can ask our toddler Jalen, because she still got a lot of growing up to
I'm
do.
not a
You know what I
toddler.
mean? Like, as a youngin, you know what I'm saying, as a young little pup, little whippersnapper, do you think that your mentality and your truths, let's put you at adolescence, right? So 15, 16, do you think that the truth you thought of yourself, Jalen, was different from someone that was, adolescent like 10 years before you? Or do you think that y'all universally understood the same truth about who you were as black girls becoming women?
I think that you're talking about 15, 16 and somebody younger than me.
No, someone that was 15 or 16 10 years ago. So somebody that
Oh
is,
shit, yeah, okay,
yeah,
old people.
there we go.
Uh no, I think the struggle is still the same.
Damn.
Just just in a different like
I think it's more I can say publicized, but you know what I'm saying? Because again,
yeah.
social media is here to hold all your faults in there. Back then, whatever you were going through, again, all we had was three-way calls. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That is a
Right.
fact.
Like when I was 15, 16, like back then, I think the natural hair movement was pretty like popular at that point, I think. At
This
least
kind
No,
of
from my
came
memory.
back. This kind
I
of came
don't,
back because I want some new folks to comb their hair. But yeah,
I don't know, Jalen. 2 years ago, I think that we were already at natural hairstyles, so that's why I'm kind of confused. Like you
Fuck
said,
you.
that I was just trying to understand. You know what I'm saying? Because that'd have
You
been like
said 2 years
2023.
ago.
Yeah, like 2023 or something like that. No,
yeah, it
I
was
was
out.
not 15 in
Brittany ain't get it.
2023.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I'm over here, like
But anyway, um, yeah, back then, wearing your natural hair was a popular thing to do, and I actually went natural. I think at 14, because
Okay.
my mom, like, again, this is why I say the black girl's experience isn't different from
and
people that
see,
are older than me, because my mom relaxed
right.
my hair,
And that's what
like
I'm about to
when
say.
I was
For
like
us,
4.
That's dope.
for us, relaxing hair was the thing. Natural hair was not in. And you got your hair permed at 4. I had a young lady tell me her grandmother permed her hair at 2
Yeah,
years old.
like my
That's
mom didn't
crazy.
know how to like take care of my hair. My aunt, like that's when my hair flourished. My aunt would like grease my scalp every weekend. She would brush it. They got to the point where it was like down my back. And then my
Mm,
mom, I stopped going to my aunt, and my mom let made me start taking care of it around 12. And that's when my hair started falling out. Because I didn't
damn.
know what the fuck to do. I was like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. So I
Yeah.
wasn't taking care of it. My hair started, getting split ends, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to cut it all off. So,
Damn. Hmm.
but I know older women who have the same experience I did. So
Yeah.
it's
And still
not it's not too different. It's just technology plays a part in at what stage of your life you learn these types of nuances. Outside of that, the nuances are still the same.
That's real. I'll tell you this too, Jalen. I'll take you down memory lane. It was like 1923 or something like that. When Brittany was in school, she used to wear this damn slick ass ponytail, and that shit would be pulled back
God
like
knows.
this. But it was long and it was her hair. But I
Right.
remember that distinctly because she was like a grade older than us in school. But yeah, she used to wear that little slick back ponytail. But she was one of the few girls that actually made a full ponytail. Believe it or not, Jalen. Like that shit was a accomplishment, and it had some hang time too. I was like, oh shit, let me find out.
Yes. Black people can have good hair. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, that was just it was a rarity. To your point, the way I think of a lot of even chasing that Eurocentric straightness caused it caused a lot of girls at the time to sacrifice shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like all for the length type shit. So, you
I
know,
think I think I have another thing
what's up?
uh black people need to stop doing.
What's that?
What's that?
Um Stop trying to be accepted by people who will never accept you or see you as equal.
Mm,
Holy
I
shit.
think trying to force yourself in their spaces or trying to get them to understand you,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work.
But I kind of feel like they are slowly doing that. Like you said, a couple of years back, with the natural hair, they stopped relaxing. Yes, I'm not trying to, fit in at least with that part of it. And then I think the military, then they allow now that they can have their locks and things like that,
Mhm.
get approved. So I think that is a step in the right direction.
That's a fact. I think to Jalen's point too, that need for validation of anything is a dangerous thing because I think that you become a slave to the opinions of others, no matter the topic, no matter the group.
Hmm.
I think it is impactful. Like if we just want to keep this as Eurocentric, but even ideals and how we group ourselves. Think about it. If you know, and I'm gonna go to the boys, the black boys. If you know your son ain't cut and built like that, and he tries to join a street organization, again, forcing yourself into spaces where you're not wanted or you won't be accepted creates a different type of a challenge. Because
Hmm.
again, your identity is gone. But now you allowing others to cherry pick exactly what they want your experience to be, and then how you show back out into the world. And I think to Jalen's point, that is a huge fucking problem. Like I think the idea of having an independent thought has been replaced with hive mentality to chase the current trend.
But
I think. Go ahead.
right. I was just gonna add. I feel like saying that a lot of black people are trying to get validation from other black people, like
Yeah,
across the board. Because I was just thinking, like, damn, I'm like, you made me think about back to school because me, I wanted to look more like a sister. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, I had the quotation mark good hair. I got called
mhm,
white girl, white like so much. I despise white people because they call me so much. I don't want to be such. I want to be known as a sister, but I wasn't. So I was trying to do things so I could fit in because I wanted to be perceived that way. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
I
real.
completely understand.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes we are our own worst tormentors.
Right.
I think that I think there's a group of people that strive for white Eurocentric validation, but I think that we are almost worse. Well, not worst. I think that we're comparably just as bad with
Mm-hmm.
how we accept and how we have think. I don't know if it's any better or worse than us chasing down behind white folks. I think it's all bad.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, though, Jalen, is a healthy separation needed for everybody to live in their or for you to become honest with the truth of who you are? Like, should you separate and find more people like you?
Um, yeah, I think you should.
Mm-hmm.
It'll help you gain clarity of
Who you are?
you're chasing the wrong thing. You should be chasing to find your own identity, not validation.
Mm. Brittany, do you think that if there was other black girls that looked like you that clicked up with you, you think it'd have been easier to navigate through it? Or do you think y'all all would have had the same shared problem?
It would be the same shared problem, but we would be in our, you know,
Support
command.
system.
Yep, there you go. Hmm.
Okay. Like that. That's dope. That's dope. Great conversation, ladies. I think that shout out to Will Crazy 69. We have to stop trying to be victims all the time. I think that's true to a certain degree. I think that the basis of the show is to speak on how we even got to the level of truth of understanding where we at. And I think sometimes when you start understanding why we even have certain ideals, it's easier to identify them and correct them.
Hmm.
So first thing I want to do is start with these numbers. Y'all know how we do. So by the numbers, Pew Research Center study found that 4 in 10 Black U.S. adults, 41%, feel their fates are strongly linked to Black people around the world, indicating a shared identity. Only about 25% of African Americans seek mental health treatment compared to 40% of white Americans. 63% of Black individuals view mental health conditions as a sign of personal weakness, and self deletion. self-deletion rates between 2011 and 2021 increased 58%, being a third leading cause of deletion from ages 10 to 24. Leave that up for a second. Shoot me a quick nod when y'all got one y'all think y'all want to speak to.
Okay.
You good? Jaylen, you good?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So, Brittany, which one popped out to you the most?
The one I could probably relate to the most was the one when it was like 63% think of it as a weakness to go on to. Because when you read the first one, I'm like, well, shit, people don't believe that is real. Then you read it like, okay, there we go. That answer that right there. Why the number is so low?
Ooh.
Most people don't want to go talk about feelings, being vulnerable, being able to really tap into that shit that's caused you to be the way you are. And some people don't want to deal with it. I mean, if they truly sit down and think about it, they don't want to deal with it. They'd rather leave it hidden, compact it, and just move on.
That makes
How
sense.
they do.
So do you think that the fact we see mental illness as a weakness, do you think that might give context to like a comment to where it's like we gotta stop being victims? Do you think that's a fair opinion?
I mean, it's easier to play victim. So a lot of people want the easy way out.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, that you going in and talking to someone, you got to challenge yourself to get to the root cause of why you behave this way, or why you don't like this, or why this, like you're XYZ. You have to really sit down and tap into if it's trauma or whatever the case may be, and then deal with it, and then take responsibility and accountability of it once you truly said it. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. I like that. Jaylen, which statistics stuck out to you?
I was gonna say the same one as Brittany.
You cool. I thought to say it ain't hands off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think Black people specifically, need to stop lying to themselves, especially about trauma that they've experienced, and actually recognize it for what it is. I think I would argue more times than not, a lot of us have experienced a form of abuse, and we just are in denial about it actually being what it was.
You said a
We
form of what
just
your phone bleeped out. What do you say?
abuse.
Abuse. Okay, yeah.
And I'm not talking about the little stuff. I'm talking about like, I'm pretty sure almost everybody I've talked to has a story of them getting beat severely,
Fact.
and they just chopped it up to, oh, I was acting bad or I was acting up, and they decided to pull out the switch, they decided to pull out the extension cord, they decided to pull out the clothing hanger. Like, that's abuse. That's not okay. Those types of instances shape you to be the type of person you are, and those types of memories might be debilitating you in a way. And I think everyone deserves a person to talk to be able to get through those things, instead of just pushing them down and just pushing them in a closet.
I like that. I see what you're saying. So you think that the fact that we view it as a weakness, we don't even get to explore that level of abuse?
No, we don't.
You suppress it.
Especially Black men.
That's real. I think we laugh at a lot of our pain a lot.
Right. And then I know a lot of y'all have been told men don't cry. That's a form of weakness. So again, being vulnerable is not something that is promoted in the Black community for the males.
You know what's fucked up though? I think if I had a son, this what I would probably shift, right? I think that I'd probably allow him a time to cry, but during his tears, I'd probably push him to articulate.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I know it sounds weird, but almost putting a time limit on the expressive part to get him back to being able
So
to
get it out and then
communicate.
get ready to talk. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And be able to communicate it to me. So I don't want him to not feel it, and I ain't gonna tell him to suck it up, but I do want him to be able to communicate what you feeling to me, so we can get to a point of resolution. So I think that as a way of, in my mind, that's just how I would do it if I had.
That's not weird. That's what you're supposed to do for a child to like get to the part where they can communicate their emotions, not from, oh, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm happy, the basics of your emotions. And you can get to the nitty gritty and explain it from a well thought out point of view, what you're genuinely feeling. Because what you're feeling may not just be happiness. What you're feeling may just not be anger. It may be disdain. It may be something more deeper than that. So,
oh, I like that. I like that. Shout out to Troy on Facebook. He said, recognizing and navigating trauma are crucial for healing and resilience. Acknowledging it is the first step, but people often feel ashamed or unsure of how to seek support and coping strategies. Navigating trauma involves understanding its effects, developing healthy coping mechanisms, and seeking professional help when needed. It's about managing triggers, processing emotions, and rebuilding safety. This journey, unique to each individual, fosters self-awareness and emotional regulation. And Facebook, I think, cut off the rest. I'm gonna leave this up for a second. I think this is a solid comment. Is there any piece of this that you all want to speak to before I bring it down?
I mean, he hit it. I mean, everything that we were saying, right? like, dang, go Troy. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, especially about managing those triggers, because that's gonna be key. And my question I was gonna ask you about the scenario that you were given with your son. Would you tell him it's like a time and a place? Yeah. Hypothetical son.
I'll say you,
we're gonna speak him into existence. Look, but what's up, CJ? But would you tell him that it's a time and place for him to cry and all of that? Would that be something that?
I think, you know what's crazy, Britt? I will honestly wait until he's 7. Okay. And to me, 7 is a key age for stuff like that. Only because what I found, like even with my daughter, at 5, she's super literal. And so I think that giving her too much context, it'll literally make her shift to taking everything I say and just literally doing exactly what I told her. So I think at 7 with my son, I can kind of also the reason why 7 is a dope age too is because by then most kids have the baseline of their personality kind of ingrained in them, right? So at that point, I know exactly what the hell I'm working with. And so another thing I don't want to do, Britt, is I wouldn't want to correct for something that's not a problem either. He might just be aware enough at 7 that, damn, this ain't the right time to be crying. You know what I'm saying? Because by then he knows all of his emotions. So, but yeah, I think I would only offer context if he puts himself in a scenario where I would have to correct it. Does that make sense? But I don't know if I would put a location on when he cries either, though. It's weird, man. I don't know. No fucking clue. CJ, what's up, bro?
How's it going? Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I experienced a jump scare and I realized it was CJ without his glasses.
Bang,
I do not be seeing your eyes often. That was a jump scare. One time.
Got him.
Yeah.
Bang.
Damn. Nah, I'm fresh out the shower. I ain't even grabbing shit. But I know in a little bit this ring light gonna piss me off, so we don't see. I might go off camera for a little bit and grab a pair of shades somewhere. But hey man, I was trying to listen to y'all for the most part.
All right, so Britt put a dope question out there. If you had a son, right? Do you think there would be a time, or like, would you teach him time and setting when it came to crying and not crying, let's just say expressing his emotions? And if so, when would you do it? Did I get that question right, Britt?
Yes.
I don't know. It had to depend on the scenario or the situation, but I got a daughter, and I pretty much do most things that I do with her is damn near a 2.0 blueprint of what my dad did with me and my older brother. And something that happened with me and my older brothers is like we cried and got emotional during like football or something like that. He'll like bring us over there. He'll be like, "You can cry, but I don't want to hear it." So it'll go like, so it was like, get it out, but be quiet about it. And then over time we learned that cry. He don't want you to let it ball up, but
Okay.
you don't need to be loud about it. And it wasn't until we got a little bit older that we found out the reason why you don't want you to be loud about it is because at the end of the day, don't nobody want to hear it. But
Damn.
he don't want you to leave it balled up. You see?
Okay.
So I've never heard dad say, wipe your tears. He might have told you, hey, don't wipe it on your clothes. Don't get that snot on your clothes. But I never heard him say wipe your tears. It was just like if you cry, he'd be like, hey, not loud. Not loud. He never said, stop crying, wipe your face. It was never that. So it was just like, get it out. He never stop it. Get it out. But at the end of the day, don't be loud though. Because at the end of the day, don't nobody want to hear it. Ain't nobody gonna come save you. So get it out. Because if you let it be balled up, guess what? You'll take a time bomb. And dad don't believe in that. So,
Nobody gonna come save you. I don't know.
yeah. See, as rough as it sounds, and I get it when I said that statement, your response it was very normal. But if you paid attention to when I said it, Strada's response was also very normal. When I said nobody's coming to save you, Strada's face was like, yeah, nigga, yeah. While you was like, that's crazy. Why? Because he's a guy. And he probably literally heard that same statement said many times. Well, not many times. You only hear it for so many times before you like, man, I already know ain't nobody coming to save me. So let me just get it out the way, you know? So it's just one of those things where, I get it. Some people be like, oh, you shouldn't say that to your son. You shouldn't say that to your kids, blah, 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 blah. In my opinion, I'd rather tell my son that statement. That way he can put into his mind, what up, though? I'd rather tell my son that statement. That way he can put into his mind that nobody's going to come save him. So he can go ahead, instead of waiting for a savior, he's putting the work to save himself. He's
like
not
that.
thinking to himself, I'm a victim. If I'm a victim, somebody's supposed to come save me. Somebody, but no, his mind is not thinking that somebody's gonna come. No, it's thinking ain't nobody gonna come. So let me go ahead and do something now. Now, if he does get help, he'll take it or accept it. But at the end of the day, I need the initiative statement to be nobody's coming to help you. Fix this shit now. And I think that's something that most boys need in their brain.
You know what? I will put the remix spin on it, and I would want him encouraged to self-regulate because he wants to do it. I know with us raising daughters, you probably understand that a little more what I mean by as an opposed to telling you what I don't want, I'm encouraging you to be happy about what I do want you to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it do.
Like, for example, if I wanted my daughter to stop frowning, I would say smile. It wouldn't be stop anything. I think that I don't know. It's I'm trying to think of a scenario recently that makes sense, right? Shit.
I could probably say one like my daughter does soccer, but she never wanted to do soccer initially. Back like 6-7 years old, she specifically wanted to do taekwondo. Those were her exact words. But at that time, they didn't have a class for her at her age group to do it, right? And she got her little feelings or whatever. I didn't tell her to stop crying. I just said, hey, how about this? Let's find something else that can use your legs. Let's find something else. So then soccer. So then, she I don't want to do that though. I know you don't want to do it, but you yourself acknowledge that you would be great at taekwondo because you got long legs and big feet. Well, I think those same things could apply for soccer.
Did you just roast your child?
No. This all right. So boom. Let me rewind it. When my daughter told me she wanted to do taekwondo, like she literally said taekwondo. Most kids at that age don't say that. They say karate. That's all they know. She said taekwondo, and I looked at her like, why? Because she said she knows I got long legs and big feet, daddy, and I think I'll be good at it. These are her words. But then we looked into it. We found out she was too young for it to join. But she ain't too young to join soccer. And I was like, well, you acknowledge that you got long legs and big feet. So do soccer.
Mhm.
And now here we are 3-4 years later. My daughter went the first 3 years just as a goalie and won championships for the little kids.
That's actually dope, Curtis. I like that.
All right, so my daughter's very tomboyish. I don't think that's gonna happen. So if it happens, it happens. Cool, but I doubt it. She only like the color pink now. So, but when it
Your
comes to
fault.
the soccer thing, here we are 3-4 years later. Those first 3 years, she was the goalie. Them kids couldn't get past her. She was the tallest thing on the field. You won't get past that little lanky girl. And
Yeah.
now this like most recent year, she's become a striker and has gotten 16 out of 19 goals for her season. That's a lot. That's technically most than a lot of real soccer players, even though they just kids. So
Yeah.
and she got an award for that. So ultimately, long legs, big feet, work. Don't even talk about Taekwondo now. See?
Ladies, what y'all think? What y'all think? Are we on cue? Are we off cue? Are we missing it? We're talking about developing truths in our young children. Do you think we getting it right? Do y'all see areas that we can improve what we're doing? What are y'all thoughts?
I don't know. We just trying to make it out here. Shit, I don't. I mean, anything in life. I mean, there's always places we can improve on. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Jalen, what you think?
Hey, as long as you're not beating them, insulting them, telling them they can't do shit,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing good to me. I don't know. There's no rule book.
That's some real shit. I think you're absolutely right about that. There is no fucking rule book, and no two children are made exactly alike. And that's another thing that is a for shit show. So,
Right. I'm pretty sure all of us at some point has said, maybe not CJ because he loves saying what his daddy done, but it's you probably got people where you say like, I don't want to do this because my parent did and I hated it. You know what I'm saying? You probably like, so we try not to do that to our kids. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait till mine get older. I'm like, when they start having kids, like I ain't doing it. 'Cause my mom did it. I'm like, dang. You know what I'm saying? Like, because then that'll be
yeah.
my truth because it's something I didn't think about, but it's something that affected them maybe in a negative way.
Yo, Britt, that's a bar, yo. Do you think a lot of how we parent is based off us doing or not doing things that our parents did to us as
Yeah,
like an overcorrection?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I get my mom's grace. I think that she was a young adult trying to raise a lot of boys, and that was, you know what I'm saying? It was what it was, you know. But like you said, I think that with me having to focus on only one, like I think it hit me maybe about a month or so ago. I'm like, damn, at 5, I can remember some of my earliest memories are from like 4 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So then it hit me that she's at the age to where it's gonna start. Her memory's gonna start sticking. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember my kindergarten teacher. I remember smells and sights and shit. So I think that it's made me a little bit more aware of how I show up with her and what I'm trying to instill into her. To your point, but doing it in a way to where ain't no real negative. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No. It's a tough thing to navigate. What I want to do now is get into some poems from different time periods.
Poems.
Yeah, we're gonna get some poems. We'll do some spoken word. These aren't my poems. These are poems by very famous poets.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they speak to different mentalities from some of our forefathers. Let's see which one I'm gonna go with first. Ooh, I like this one. Let's go
Okay.
here. Yeah, you didn't think you was coming up here for a poetry reading, did you?
No, I just thought you were a SoundCloud rapper, I guess.
That's
Yo,
crazy.
SoundCloud rap is crazy. It shit ain't
SoundCloud
all
rapper.
hard, Joe. It's cool. I'm about to literally find some of my YouTube performances and bring them up so Jada can
See?
understand. I'm a rapper. My daughter's 5. But yeah, let's get into this poem. I think it's gonna be dope. I'm not gonna read it in the same nuance. I ain't gonna put no beat behind it, Jalen. So just know that what we did, Jalen, is before iTunes, there were rhyming words, right? And we
Right.
didn't have this thing called beats. And so, sometimes you would put those rhyming words together to a cadence. So this might not be in a cadence, but these were called poems. Okay. And it was written on something called paper. Jalen, have I lost you at all? I need to make sure you're still with me.
It took you a minute to learn how to type on your phone since you're used to typing with a typewriter. So
That's crazy work.
Crazy.
Jelly, we had to type right and go and
Ages.
slide.
Wow. I always wanted one of those, bro. Low key.
Nigga, y'all remember the floppy disk in like 3rd or 4th grade? Or am I tripping?
Wait a minute.
Hey, hold on, player. You said floppy disk 3rd and 4th grade.
Oh yeah, the floppy disk. Yes.
See, Brittany know what the fuck I'm talking about. I ain't telling y'all.
I know, but I was like in like 8th, 9th grade. Like
damn. Different time. 4th grade, bro. Yeah, I remember that shit. Anyway, shout out to Miss Wilkins. We're gonna get to this poem. It's called Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. This was written in 1922. And while I read it, I want you all to think about certain truths that was passed on from the mother generation to the generation beneath. And what does this reveal about who we are and how we saw ourselves even back then in 1922? Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, eyes have been climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on them steps because you find it's harder. It's kind of hard. Don't you fall now. For I still going, honey. I still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. I'm going to leave that up. Y'all give me a head nod or something. Let me know that kind of got it. And again, this poem is Mother to Son by Langston Hughes, circa 1922. So, based on that poem, what do you think we were as a society back then?
1922, is that what we're referring to?
Yep. Well, not 1922, but just the time period. You know what I'm saying? Like during that civil rights era and shit. Like, what do you think we were? I think everybody knows somebody that memorized this poem, by the way, if you old enough. Jalen, never mind. We'll explain it later.
I actually read this and had to interpret it in one of my English classes growing up. So, but to play into your stereotype, sinners taught me that Black people were turning each other into vampires in that time period. So.
Oh shit! Now, what did your history book say was happening? I would love to hear your interpretation of this poem.
Oh, the poem?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of a personal interpretation. Just to me, because the first question my English teacher asked was, "What do you think the scenario was as to why his mother had to tell him that?" Kind of like theoretical questions, you know.
Right.
And for me, it was kind of like maybe he was complaining about something that his mother felt like it sounded like entitlement.
Mm.
And she had to sit him down and explain to him, I had it harder than you. And don't let that keep you from getting whatever you're trying to get. Because life for me was very much so harder than what you've had to deal with.
Damn, that makes sense. How do you think that shaped her son's reality, and what did it say about hers?
How did it shape his reality?
Yeah.
I think depending on the age, kids are pretty stubborn. He probably wouldn't have resonated with that at all. Probably would have wrote it off as sea tripping.
See, I was gonna say he's gonna look at it like, damn, ain't nothing gonna come easy to me. Like I'm gonna have to pretty much fight through some things or deal with some hard circumstances that to get whatever he may want in life. And then for him to be a male I was like, but damn, he said mother to son. It didn't say father to son. So then it made me think like damn, where's the dad in this picture? Not saying the mamas can't have a conversation with the son, but like she's schooling him to me in this on life. So I'm like, well, dang, what would the dad have said if he had done one from a male perspective?
That's dope. CJ.
Especially in that time frame.
Yeah, my bad, Brett. CJ, what effects do you think this poem had on the kid? And what does it say about the actual mother and where her mentality was?
For the kid, I'm gonna say it's a little boy too. He probably gonna if I was listening to my mom tell me all this, I would just hear that, that she went through a lot of trials and tribulations, went through a lot of obstacle courses and all this stuff. But yeah, she just kept pushing through to get to wherever she at right now through the struggles. Hopefully she's like at that point going to have some achievements that she can show receipts for. But I'm also like the girls said, like it's not. I'm also gonna think that it's not gonna be easy. That I'm probably gonna have to go through the same struggles and whatnot to get there as well. But it's not impossible. It's just gonna be difficult.
Right.
And from the mother point of view, I think it's just her basically. Think of it as like she could be like in a better life right now. It's like, yeah, life is good right now, son, but I didn't just wake up like this. I got all this through hard work. It wasn't just handed to me. It wasn't just given to me. This took, a lot of grinding, a lot of hours had to get put in to get to this. It wasn't easy. So don't think because you got it, don't mean you don't think because I got it, don't mean you gonna get it the same way. I think that's what it is. I think she just kind of giving them a warning that shit ain't easy.
Man, sweet.
I also agree with Curtis. This also proves that welfare did not take Black men out the home. Black women, Black mothers have been the epicenter of families longer than most of us have even been alive, and probably our grandparents. You're welcome.
Damn it.
Checkmate, CJ.
No, just die on that hill. I'm not about to argue that shit. Die on the hill.
That nigga said just die on the hill.
Because this will be a whole nother pod if I respond to that.
I'm sorry.
Die on that hill.
Thursday. I had
just keep it as Toxic Thursday. Yeah, that's why when I heard it, I'm like, nah, nigga, we have a 3-4 hour pod that would literally go against that statement. Literally a 3-4 hour pod that goes against that very sentence you made. And I'm like, you're just gonna die on that hill. I'm not about to give it. This will be another pod if I respond to that. Let's just keep going.
No, but Jim Crow came before welfare.
Die on the hill.
All right, I'm done.
I'm telling you, it will. Strata, it will be a whole nother pod if I respond.
I got you. I'm not gonna be petty, bro. I'm not gonna be petty today.
No, we have a whole fucking video on that. No.
Yeah, that's a fact. Shout out to our toddler Jalen, and she throws tantrums sometimes.
She came to play. I'm trying to recover from work. She want to be on bullshit.
Yeah, we just gotta give her a rattler back, put it back. You know what I'm saying? We cool though. I think we can keep pushing. I got 2 more points for y'all though, man. I thought this one was a good one.
I'm gonna get her in Discord.
Called "Those Winter Sundays" by Robert Hayden, and this is 1960.
Yeah, I heard of this one before. This got read at school before.
Yeah. Sundays too. My father got up early and put on his clothes in the blue-black cold. Then with cracked hands that ached from labor in the weekday weather, made banked fires blaze. No one ever thanked him. I'd wake and hit a cold splinter breaking. When the room was warm, he'd call and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house. Speaking indifferently to him who had driven out the cold and polished my good shoes as well. What did I know? What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices? That was a little bit deeper. We left for a little bit. Curtis got to be stopped. Curtis, I need your phone, bro. I'm gonna make sure I screenshot this and send this over to Granville.
Yeah.
That is fucking hilarious. Robert hating his nasty work. Yeah. But I'm gonna leave this poem for a second. I know it reads a little differently, but explain to me how y'all think the dynamic might have shifted in this little boy and his father based on the poem and what he's trying to articulate.
When he mentioned word fears, the chronic anger of this house, that tell you right there how the house feels around there. The dad is working day and night, slaving, hands bloody, everything, and he's just feel unappreciated.
Mm.
And the son is catching the wrath of it because, again, black men in this case probably don't know how to express himself. He's just bottling up and is taking out on whoever the hell's around him. And it's probably the children, if he got a wife in the house, more than likely she getting it too.
Mm. Okay. Damn. Okay. That's crazy. I'm rereading one of the lines and I was like, damn, what you said, I didn't even catch it because, you know, these commas and shit, how you pause and when you pause matters to what the poet is trying to get you to see.
Mm-hmm.
You made me look at that entire sentence differently because the way I read it at first was that when he called and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house, speaking indifferently to him. It was more like the house was old and it was angry based on how worn it was, and that's what it spoke to him. But you're saying no, he was the tone within the room and he set the tone of the house.
Right.
So that's why I read it over again. That's dope. Kind of looked at it a little different. Then no one ever thanked him. I think that stood out at the end of the first stanza. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, no one thanked. I'm like, damn. Like, I mean, my heart sang like, damn, the man working, and no one thanked him. Like, by itself, like, damn, that's tough. But that happens a lot.
Yeah,
Even still, to this day, that happens.
That's a fact. Y'all want to speak to it more? I think I've left it up long enough. Y'all good on it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, how does that speak to the dynamic of father and son? You're muted. There you go, CJ.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Yes. Now we don't.
Now
I don't
we
know what
can't
you
hear you at all.
We heard.
I heard what the fuck, but I think it's because I just read your lips. I don't think you actually.
That's all the words. I didn't hear that.
It's all CJ's fault. I don't know what happened, but it's all his fault.
He'll pop back up. Jayla, what you think about that poem?
I think it speaks to, and this is what I don't understand about men, but it speaks to the fact that even though men say they don't care about thank yous or getting loving attention from their families, just them not getting that, the poem speaks to the tension that was in that house because of how far removed the father is with his family.
You think he was removed?
I think he was. I think that there's a distance. Because of that distance, there's tension.
Speaking differently.
Because if you think about it, most dads, they just kind of they be working, they be pushing, they be churning, most of them don't really have a loving relationship with their child as much as moms do. Hence why
All right, y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Came in hot.
And maybe to your point, Jada, when you were saying like black men don't want that, I think they say that because if you say that long enough, you're gonna believe it. You know what I'm saying? Because they do want it, but if I say it, then I don't have to expect it. And if I don't expect it, then I can't get hurt, or I don't have to worry about somebody. You know what I'm saying? Giving him that type of love and appreciation.
I think to keep it. I think she hit it. I think she hit it on the head. Or keeps it 100 all the time. I don't know this guy, girl. Apologize. I can't really tell the gender. That and little bro. I think.
You go back
I got you. No, you good. think this is a pretty solid take. I think the son was reflecting on his childhood and how he took what his father did for him for granted. And I think that was illustrated in this line of indifference. Let me see if I can pull it off the screen. So, when the room was warm, he called and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house. Oh, you are a lady. I do apologize for the mix. I just wanted to make sure, you know what I'm saying? I ain't see no profile pictures, so you never, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that this line right here, when the room was warm, he called and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic anger of the house, speaking indifferently to him who had driven out the cold. I think that after all that shoveling and all they heard, the fact that the son received them with an indifference was the lack of appreciation that I think that keeps it 100 had pointed out. Am I all base? Does that make sense? That's what y'all got from that?
I guess you could put it that way. Yeah, which I was saying initially was like, no, I wasn't getting that. I was definitely getting that this little nigga's ungrateful as fuck, but doesn't understand the why behind it. It's like I think what it is he it's like he's ungrateful. He's ungrateful, but I don't think he really acknowledges at that time as a kid how ungrateful he is. But he also sees all this hard work his dad's doing.
What did I know? I get you saying that. What did I know? What do I know? Saying it twice.
Yeah, it's like what did I know? What did I know of Love's Astra and lonely offices? Because he don't know nothing about what his dad do. Happy Toxic Thursday. But he don't know nothing about what his dad do. But what he do know is that his dad works hard. He knows that. He knows that his dad gets wear and tear from working hard from the creaky hands. He knows that the dad definitely was doing some type of like chopping wood or something, because the back in that time frame, he definitely was chopping wood to get the cold out the house.
Yeah.
And to call him, mind you, it says that he called after he got driven the cold out and polished my good shoes as well. That means not only did he warm the house up, which more than likely was chopped wood, he also polished his son's shoes with these fucked up hands of his. So it's just like you acknowledge that this man does a lot for you, but you was low key ungrateful at that time, not knowing like how much he actually does for you, regardless of his condition.
Yeah, maybe he expecting love in a different way. So everything his daddy did was out of love and caring for him, but he just couldn't perceive it that way. Maybe that's why he said, "What did I know?"
That's dope. I got one more poem. Then we're gonna get to the actual show. I think this is a good way for us to walk down the mentalities of us before we got to exist the way we are. To kind of go back a little bit versus trying to deal with everything in the present. And then we're gonna get into the actual questions that shape how we currently think. So I got one more poem for y'all. This one is very short but super powerful. It's called "We Real Cool" by Gwendolyn Brooks. Now this is 1959. The pool players, 7 at the Golden Shovel. We real cool. We left school. We lurk late. We strike straight. We sing sin. We thin gin. We jazz June. We die soon.
This screams YOLO. That's what that is. This screams YOLO.
Nigga said it screams YOLO.
That's what this screams. This screams. I mean, I'll pause on the screen, but it screams YOLO.
I'm gonna bring it back up for you.
Yeah, like we real cool. We left school. We lurk late. Like these niggas left school, which to me saying we left school means you left it earlier than need to be, and then you out late as hell.
Yeah.
We strike straight. I don't know how old some of these folks in this chat is, but I know my uncle said like, yeah, the buddies used to strike back then. That was them saying they used to like hit clubs or party or just like kickback. So to say we strike straight is like they went straight to the fun stuff. Whatever was fun and exciting that late at night, that's what they went to. And then to say we sing sin, that means there was probably a bunch of young kids that probably went to church like 3-4 times a week, but yet they was now singing some it was 1959. jazz, blues.
And the juke joints. Yep.
Yeah, the juke joints. We thin gin. That just means that they had a full bottle and they made that thing go disappear.
Type shit.
Like, yeah, look, it says we jazz June. Like, yeah, we die soon. Like, it sounds like just YOLO. That's what this is.
Damn.
Like that's and what's so crazy about it? YOLO mean basically say you only live once, but it also means like everything's fast paced, it's microwave, it's quick, it's short, it's fun, exciting, but in a small package. Just like this damn poem. This poem was extremely short, but said a lot. It's YOLO. That's all this is. And the shortest answer, it's just YOLO.
All right, ladies, what y'all think? Y'all agree, disagree that y'all go somewhere else when I was reading it?
I mean, when I read it, I was like, okay, yeah, this generation right here.
This is closer to how we think currently?
No, the younger generation, not us.
Okay, it ain't us. Jalen, do you think like this as a toddler?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I think that every generation has their form of rebels.
Okay.
And as the poem says, they be dying soon. So
damn. You think that's
like this generation is dying sooner than ours, or maybe even when she wrote those 50, what was it, 56, 59, whatever.
Y'all are 80s, right? Y'all are 80. Y'all
I'm
were changing in the 80s.
80s. Yep. 80s and 90s babies.
Okay. Y'all was doing crack cocaine.
No, y'all.
That's crazy.
Yo, putting that shit on us. What year do you think? What grade was that when we smoking crack?
The rebels in y'all's generations was doing crack cocaine.
The rebels.
That was our uncle.
That was that. Hey, I'm a 90s baby. The crackheads was definitely they was from the 70s. They was born at least in the 70s, late 60s. The actual crackheads.
See, this is why you got that.
By the time the crack era was being a thing, those people that was actually doing it, those people were born.
Like everything past everything before the 90s, I just assume we're crack babies. I apologize.
No, that's why it's called crack in the 80s. But people born in the 80s wasn't doing crack.
We were too young, Jalen.
No,
we didn't do it either.
It was just in y'all DNA strands. I'm sorry.
I mean, you have such thing as crack babies, but to have crack babies, they had to be born in the 80s by the people that was born in the 60s.
And I get it, Jalen. This is the late 1900s. I understand all of that, but you still gotta treat us with some dignity and shit.
In the late 1900s.
I'm not gonna keep doing this.
That's crazy. Wasn't she born in the 90s?
I was born in 99.
Okay, what the fuck?
Right. Oh shit.
Did she just say in the late 90s? You are literally the last of the 90s.
Right.
I mean, but I grew up in the early 2000s.
Your statement was, ain't y'all from the late 90s? You are literally the last of them.
She just came out twerking the juvenile. That's all that means.
You got a hint of little crack powder in your system then, if that's the case.
I was too busy trying to learn Soldier Boy dances. Anyway.
Shit, okay. That gives me a proper framing. Damn, I done forgot the question. What was I even asking her, bro?
Oh no.
See,
that was crazy.
Old man brain.
Yeah. We're talking about the poem. Jalen distracted me and shit. What were your thoughts on the poem, Jalen? Oh, I knew what the question was.
Your rebellious nature will have you die quicker.
Yes. Do you think that is a truth that young men let's say young men for this example. You think that's a truth that young men have to accept? And is it uncomfortable? Or do you think that's a minority of men that are walking this path based on that poem?
I think it's a majority of men that have their phase of rebellion. Probably not as like extreme as the poem, but they have their little taste with, doing some bad shit.
That's a fact. What about y'all women folk? Do you think that it is
women folk?
Us women folks is virgins, and we do no wrong.
Then we're gonna start this shit up again. That's fine. So we're gonna talk to the adult woman in the room. Let's go with Brittany to see if she agrees. The toddler is currently throwing a tantrum, and it is Toxic Thursday, and I'm trying my best to keep it together up here. But nah, shout out to Jalen. I totally get what you're saying. So, Brittany, do you think that, or do you share Jalen's sentiment on kids being rebels and based on that poem, like where they were with it? Do you agree with that?
I mean, I can see it for sure. I definitely can.
All right, y'all finished with the poetry corner. You got anything else you want to add? Anybody want to give some words of wisdom, some finger snaps, and some shit?
All I know is that poem was basically me in high school, and I'm still here, so.
What you gonna say,
I left school early at times. A nigga was definitely hitting the Kiwanis Club, especially because of Bonnie Jones.
Type shit.
Definitely was out late, thanks to Bonnie Jones.
Type shit.
I wasn't drinking no gin back then. I was drinking the original Four Loko. All right.
Talk that shit. Talk that Four
And
Loko.
a nigga didn't die though.
So you died one.
I'm still here. But I didn't die. I was definitely calling niggas out for Soulja Boy dances. You couldn't jerk better than me. Fuck out of here.
That is funny as shit. Jalen, what you was about to say?
Oh man, is that Mr. Williams?
Then look, y'all make sure he said that. So when y'all meet up, we're gonna have a Soulja Boy dance off between y'all two. So go ahead.
Oh, you gonna lose? Ain't one of y'all gonna beat me? All right, Mr. Williams. Ain't none of y'all gonna beat me in that. To this day.
Wait, you talking about me?
Ash Strada and Jalen. Nigga was dancing on the platform all time in Atlanta.
You can't pay me to dance in front of people.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's gonna be a short comment.
That's fine. I mean, you just forfeit by default.
Hey,
that's cool.
I'm gonna be like somebody else. Pay me $5K for an
Pay me $5K for the show up. Y'all are petty as shit.
That's crazy work.
That is funny as hell.
If you know, you know.
That shit. You probably should join the Discord. This might be risky.
I'll get a dance off. You might.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
I'll be on some lazy shit. Don't go to work tomorrow. Don't let Hamp do a DJ session. You might.
You know he does it every Friday.
Right.
Nah, we'll see.
Shout out, Brad.
Right. That's another old school nigga.
Kasim, what's up, brother?
That's another old school nigga. We getting a lot of old school niggas popping up.
Yeah, Kasim, we were just reading some poems.
Look, there's 40s. He's decrepit.
Yeah. That's like 3 OGs in a row.
That's
y'all popped up back to back to back. That was literally Mr. Williams, fucking 40s that did Kasim.
Check it. Playboy Williams, Kasim, and Kayada. We were just reading some poems from y'all 4th grade students that went on to be very great people. So, you know, when y'all get a chance, go back into the stream.
Yeah, one of them came out at night. That one of them poems was like 1959. I know Mr. Williams was like in high school.
Yeah, they had a poetry battle and shit. Like I think I don't think they recorded it, but I think it was telling us about it in Discord one day. But shout out to Mr. Williams, man. Shout out to Mr. Williams, Sporties, and Kasim. So the first question I have for y'all is dealing with identity and perception, right? So the question I want to ask is how much of Black people's identity was shaped by survival versus them wanting to be authentic?
Wait, say that again? How much is shaped by survival versus authentic?
How much of how we identify ourselves is shaped by wanting to survive versus just being who you truly are?
You want a percentage?
You could be.
I graduated in 1995. Chump. Nigga, I was 3.
Close enough.
I wasn't even thought of.
Close enough, Mr. Williams. I told you. We just read some Langston Hughes.
I wasn't even conceived. When did you graduate, Strata?
It was a many moons ago. Many moons ago. Many moons ago.
75. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 75.
Hey, there you go. Hey, what I tell you, anything before the 80s.
Hold on, so if he graduated in 95,
seen that man in a minute.
Born in 1975? Scam Likely, what's up, brother?
I ain't seen that guy in a minute.
Dust.
Oh no.
What's
said dust.
what's dust? Come on, scam. What we doing? What we calling dust this time?
You know you
What is
made it
dust?
if you get the dust mite to come.
Of course, nah. We rock with scam over here. He be over
It's
here
been a
sweating.
minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. How you been, bro?
No, I'm good. All's well.
That's what's up, bro. What do you think is dust, scam? Talk to me.
Um, what I got? No, I was just greeting with dust. Just
Oh, okay, got
A
you.
lot of old nigga hate.
I'll say we can only get some good combos with scam, man.
No, wait
So-
about 15 minutes. Somebody will spark up some dust. You know how it
Got
works.
you. We wait for the
I
dust.
don't hate old niggas. I was just blessed to watch old niggas in real time in Atlanta break every bone in their body. So
Yo,
it was a
yes,
fun time.
stretching is definitely key. And again, I can't wait till the next meetup, man. We had some fun shit. Strata was born in the early 1900s. Okay, I'm not playing with y'all. Let me stay out of the chat. Back to the show, man. So, question number one, we're talking about scam. Just to catch you
I'm
up.
gonna say 80%, bro. And it's not just like survival as far as like food and like house. It's just the mentality of even social media. I'm gonna
CJ,
say
I think
85% of
the
it is that
everything.
a lot of motherfuckers are willing to act any specific way to survive the image of social media over just naturally being who they are.
So you think
Like
80%
like what's one of the biggest quotes about the niggas coming up? Fake it till you make it. Niggas do that. They really do that.
So you think it's 80% they identify with
Survival.
surviving, and 20% is just because they authentically who they are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think because technically to survival is usually based off of experience.
Okay.
So if a person
Okay.
experienced certain things that they didn't like or feel, they'll like move a certain way, act a certain way to avoid that feeling again, avoid that experience again. But sometimes you just got to just downright be who you are, and a lot of people ain't that.
I like it. I can get it with that. Let's go Jalen, Scam, and then Brittany. So Jalen, if you had to put a percentage on it, how many of black people's identities do you think was shaped by them being in survivor mode versus them authentically being who they are?
90% survival.
Damn. And 10%, that's just who they are?
Yeah.
Why so high?
Because a lot of what we learn isn't about morality, it's about how to protect ourselves and to just make it home safe, or how not to be profiled incorrectly by certain people and still make it home safe, or keep your job, or not get in trouble in school. It's not, most of it is just learning basic survival instincts.
Do you think we have a shift into a different mentality?
I think you shift in a different mentality when you're in a different tax bracket.
Oh shit. Okay. Now, do you think that if we're saying that the kids of this generation are probably more aware than we are, do you think that it looks different for, let's say, our children, quote unquote? Or do you think that the same percentages would apply?
Yeah, I think it looks different unless, your children are experiencing the same strife that you did. However, if they're not and they're more privileged, I don't think most of their identity is shaped on survival. I think it's more so shaped on authenticity because you gave them the space to learn how to be authentic.
I like that. Okay. I like that. Let's go with Scam. How much of black people's identity was shaped by survival or is shaped by survival versus authenticity today?
I had to say it's a high, more than 50% survival. Because a lot of people are carrying pain that they never even seen, never even felt, and just regurgitating it. But part of our identity is a lot of people are followers. Critical thinking, lack of critical thinking comes from survival mode. Getting beat half to death growing up, which y'all know I'm not for beating on kids.
Yep.
Shame,
we
neglect,
were talking about earlier with Jalen.
Yeah, shame, neglect, and abuse is three-headed monster. I'm absolutely against all three. But it puts people in survival mode, teaches people out of critical thinking to where they can develop an identity. Technically, you force them into a box or a box thinking.
I like it.
So they have no identity. Those who do have one or actually build one, if you look at, what is it, Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Uh-huh.
a lot of thinking is all the way at the bottom. Food, shelter, and clothing. They're fat, so they got the food covered.
Yeah.
They got somewhere to live.
You ain't shit, Scam.
And they got clothing.
Oh yeah, I knew he's going there. I'm gonna let him get the scam off because I ain't seen him in a while. He going, yeah. Let's do
clothing,
this.
3X, 4X, and size 28 dress. Size 18. They got those covered, but they still sit there and marinate them and fictionalize everything else. The self-actualization and the emotional needs. They just fictionalize it and just spin around in circles. It's pretty much what you see on a dust panel that runs every hour on the hour.
Got you.
It's why they're, I'll leave it there.
For sure. I appreciate you, Scam. Britt, give me a percentages based on how Black people are showing up. Are we in survival mode or are we being authentically ourselves?
And I agree with everybody. I mean, definitely survival mode. But after hearing him, I ain't got nothing to add. Cause I was say, baby,
Scam gonna keep it tall. You know that.
I know.
You know that. Shout out to Scam and the whole panel, man. We appreciate y'all perspectives. Straight
Scam
up.
still ain't shit.
Jalen, I'm innocent.
You just said everybody wears size 28.
I'm not talking about.
Funny. That is funny. So my next question for y'all is, do Black people show up as themselves or the self that the world accepts? Do Black people show up as themselves or do they show up as the self that the world will accept?
Well, a nigga like me gonna be me.
Okay.
But as far as people in the world, yeah, they show up as how the world accepts them.
What does that look like for you? What does that look like for Black people?
Perfect example, in my position at work, I'm supposed to be quote unquote sophisticated, talk proper, because the rest of the fucking albinos, they when we had those Monday meetings, it's all about, all right, fellas, so here's the thing we got for today. We got this and blah blah blah. We got this and the third, then we got to do this great job on last week's blah 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 blah. All right, Chris, what you got today? All right, so boom. So this shit over here, and it's like they every now and then motherfuckers look at me like I'm crazy. Don't look at me like that. Because when we be on the floor, fuck y'all. Y'all niggas be cussing too. Don't act like because we all in the room together and the big wig is over there, as if we see them on the floor, they're not gonna have a full conversation with us. Like, why the fuck is that thing going on? So because we're all in this room together, we gotta talk like we on PBS Kids. Fuck y'all. Now I'll give them the whole thing that every now and then I will say nigga. Now that might be a trick because now I'm the only black guy. I used to be two other black guys, but now I'm the only black guy. So maybe that might be the one I might need to work on the most. But outside that, no, man. I'm talking to y'all damn near how I talk to the motherfuckers in there, man. It's like,
okay.
But they want you to try to talk. So in today's report, we got this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. We got some good ratings here. We're supposed to be doing a good amount of this, da, 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 da. That's not me. All right, so boom. The other day we did this. These are the numbers. That shit could have went higher than that, but shit got fucked up. That's literally how I be talking to them. And they look at me like, oh my God, here he goes. Oh, motherfucker. Like, why would I change? For what? I didn't kiss no ass to get to this spot. I didn't fuck nobody to get to this spot. I got to this spot because you in that motherfucker in that corner demanded me to get to this spot. So why would I change?
Okay. Got you.
Be you.
Talk that shit. Let's go, Brittany. Do Black people show up as themselves or the self the world accepts?
Probably the majority, I would probably say the world accepts. That's who they show up as. It's just easier to do that. Again, like you said, a lot of people don't want conflict, don't want problems. So being who they would be accepting more, it's just easier to do.
So all right, because I was waiting. Hold on, because I was waiting for Brittany to answer this, right? So boom, Brittany, you said that most Black people do it that way. So in your younger days, when people thought that you was a inverted white person, why didn't you just decide to just be white instead of saying no, I'm Black? Why did you just let the world accept you as white and be that?
Well, in their eyes, I was.
Yeah, but you didn't accept it. You said that based off the question, you wasn't being yourself, or was you?
I don't know who I was back then. I was still trying to fit in at that age.
Was you trying
But
to fit
I
in with the
will
Black
say,
folks or the white folks?
but I'm just saying, well, it wasn't the blacks. I didn't go buy hoop earrings. I didn't go, to my change of style or dress. So I guess I was still looking white because again, I was considered one of the sheltered, as people would say, I was sheltered. So I didn't get to experience, like you were saying, going out to the nightclub and gin and all that stuff. So that's why I was portrayed as the white girl. So I guess that's who I was to them if they were looking at me.
So you chose not to hang with the niggas, thus you was not a nigga.
I don't chose to. I wasn't allowed to. My mom didn't want playing that shit. Look, your ass
This
changing.
nigga scared.
Keep
I
your ass
knew
in
she
the
did,
house.
bro. Bring him on camera. We were doing so good too. Damn it, y'all don't let Scam down.
I mean, I was just waiting to see how
Definitely
she was
did
gonna
wrong.
respond to that question after the whole. I know I'm not white, but damn it, that's all they wanted me to be. What up, Texas folks?
What up, Alexis? So that makes sense. Scam, what do you think? Do Black people show up as themselves or the self the world accepts?
Combination of both and a combination of neither one.
Okay,
I'll
tell me
explain.
more. Yeah.
Do they show up as themselves? Most people are fake, so they'll show up any kind of way. So that's kind of a. Are they showing up as the real selves? Like, hey, I'm being real? No, they're showing up as a fraud. But it's really who they are, a fraud.
Damn. Okay. I'm following
And
that.
what's the second part?
Or the self the world accepts.
The world doesn't accept the world. And I don't know why people don't know that. People talking about society standards. What are society standards? I ain't seen one. They're all over the damn place. All the way up to the celebrities don't even like it, don't even like the damn selves. So what is the standard?
Damn,
Can't nobody name one.
Depending on which way the wind blows.
Do we smoke? Are we healthy? Are we not? Are we married people, or you got to get 15 hoes? Well, I don't know. I have no clue what an actual society standard is.
Damn. That is interesting.
Yeah, a pimp, a rapper, and an athlete get the same award almost. Okay. Then they do something and somebody don't like something they did. Now they throw them all the way away. And then worship crook. I mean, then they worship in MLK, then another crook. I don't know. So
you
I don't know
think
what the standards are.
Okay.
But what people do is they flip-flop based on convenience anyway. Barack Obama was black when you like him. Now he ain't black. Kamala, black when you want her to be. Now she ain't. Kaepernick, black. I mean, I don't know. That's why I just joined the Trolluminati, because they just all over the place.
So we just gonna troll them all.
So it's people saying, yeah, we identify and we this, and do the actual opposite. So it's just all over the place, bro.
I got you. Jalen, what you think? Do Black people show up as themselves or the self the world accepts?
I think they show up the way the world accepts.
What does that look like for Black people in America?
Internalizing stereotypes.
Damn. Okay. What does that look like on a physical person? Like externalizing the stereotypes. So you're saying we dress based on, in America, Black people are dressed the way the stereotypes are depicted us?
Yeah.
Shit.
Hey, Strata, I had a question.
Yeah, what you got?
this so-called acceptance bar that people are supposed to meet, does black accept black?
Shit.
No.
Or are they still having 1822 light skin, dark skin conversations? FDA
No, because
versus
I'm definitely not gonna hire no 5'6" puppy dog eye light skinned nigga with locks, because I just here to rob motherfuckers on the low. I ain't taking no chances.
Yo.
I ain't taking no chances. Every nigga that's locks like they've been around longer than 7 years, I can't trust them. For all I know, he might turn every few black person in my community or in my employment base into gangbangers. Today they wearing suit and ties and they got a crease in their slacks. Next month they are wearing baggy True Religion jeans. They got on Air Force Ones that ain't tied, pants sagging, don't know what a belt is, and they probably say gang gang in every other sentence. No.
I don't appreciate that, gang. I don't know about that.
So
no, I gotta get your point. What you got, Jalen?
I just think, unfortunately, every race has their own caste system.
their own what system?
Caste.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other races they're all over the place too. Just
That's
the
what I mean.
blackies
Like,
are more vocal and more out of just all over the place because they're willing to grab a mic and vocalize it.
no, I think that every race has a racial hierarchy. The
Kinda
lighter
work.
you are, the closer you are to purity or something that's supposed to be idolized. The darker you are, the more degenerate people think you are, or you're supposed to be. And if you're not, they say you're too white.
Doesn't that come from that slavery mentality? Like the light skin was in the house, the dark was in the field. You know, isn't that
Yeah,
where
like
all kind of started?
internalizing the stereotypes. Yeah.
But the most simple question, ain't that some stupid shit?
I mean, yeah, but
It is.
Stupid ain't never stopped the progress of stupid. You can believe that, Scam.
Yeah, I can't get scientific with stupid. It's kind of simple.
I feel you. So this is an open question. Anybody can answer, right? Which lies about blackness have we internalized without realizing it?
Which lies about blackness have we internalized without realizing?
All black people love chicken. You know, like you talking about stuff like that.
Yep.
Oh wow.
That's a lie, though.
Oh, a lie. Well, I mean, all black people probably don't like chicken or eat watermelon collard greens.
I was about to say I don't like fried chicken. I didn't eat watermelon until about COVID time, about 2020, 2021. I don't know.
They think all black men are gangsters. All black women have multiple baby daddies. You know, don't believe in marriage. They probably think we all ignorant at some level.
Who is they?
What are some lies? The other people.
Yeah.
The
oppressors.
Anybody that's not black.
Yeah, they don't believe this.
You said you don't think they believe that about us?
No.
So what do you think they believe?
That we're black.
So what does that mean?
That's like that statement was like an umbrella thing right there.
No, because it's the attack of the sliding goalpost.
I don't like fried chicken.
How can I say it? If they really believe these things, the actions will back it up. But even the very black people who regurgitate the things don't believe it and don't back it up. But when convenient and it's time to throw a shot or just throw something or throwing either an excuse or a dirty shot, they reach in the pocket and start throwing one of these out there. You see it on dust panels every hour and an hour.
Okay.
But if you go and because somehow these people live in segregation. I don't know how there's 60-something% white people in America and they act like they never seen one or never talked to one. Most of them are just white. Most Hispanics are Hispanic. Mixed people, you know what they are? Anybody want to take a guess?
Mixed, probably.
Confused.
All right, so I gotta. But to the question, though, Scam.
Mhm.
Which lies do you think we've internalized without realizing that we did it as a black community, though?
I still think it's a minority who believe it. Light skin, dark. Pretty much all the bullshit. Light skin, dark skin. Black men ain't this. Women's this. Trying to think of the old ones before you get to the new dumb shit. What's another old one? More men in jail than in working.
Yeah.
I think a big lie that I used to hear a lot as a kid was that like all black people had nappy hair, and if you had like curly hair or whatever, you had Indian in your family.
Yes, Lord.
Now as a kid, I didn't know grandma was a fucking Native American. All right, grandma was black to me. Like she's bright as shit. She's bright. My grandma on my dad's side is brighter than Strata. Like, but I never thought she was Native American. Only Native American view I've ever got was Pocahontas. So she ain't look like that. So I ain't think of it like it ain't like grandma said I'm black or said I was Native American or whatever tribe she was. I can't say the fucking name. It starts with an O. But I never thought of that. But when they used to be like, "Oh, Chris,"
no, that's
I can't remember. Don't get me guessing up here.
Yeah.
But when they used to say that when I was a kid, before I let my hair grow when it was just short, it's like, "Oh, you must got Indian in your family. You ain't black." I never understood that. That shit sounded so fucking dumb, and it was like you only heard black people say it, and so it was one of those lies where if you had good hair, that you got Indian in your family, or if you was like fucking Brittany, they probably thought you wasn't black at all because you was so bright and had different texture hair. So yeah, that was definitely a lie that existed in motherfuckers for a minute.
Shout out to Scam Light in the chat. Anybody else want to give a stab at the question? That's funny. Y'all good on that one?
Yeah, I added my 2 cents. Yeah.
Let's keep it rolling. Shit, I'm with it. Are we breaking family curses or are we justifying them?
Both.
I was about to say, I think that's both. I can't even say one or the other.
All right, so let's start with, are we breaking family curses? Let's talk about how we're breaking first, and then we'll see who thinks we're justifying them. So let's just start with the breaking family curses. What is it?
I'm gonna say people around about my age and younger are definitely going out their way to break some of them.
Which one?
Like how the older heads, like y'all age and older, those that used to make a big deal about all the crazy crap that was going on in the family, but anybody want to talk about it? No, that shit get younger, my age group and younger, they'll say it as soon as they see it. Like, as soon as it happens, it's getting called out. Therapy, the younger groups is definitely doing that. They're definitely pushing it, promoting it big time.
That's a fact.
When it comes to like religion, back then you just kind of just accept it as it is what it is, while the younger groups question it more before they just simply lean towards something.
Okay.
So it's like I think just those family curses where you just it is what it is. This is what it is. That's just how your uncle get. No, uncle over here touch a little kid. See these younger folks. No, they bark at all that stuff now. Gotcha. Finances, that's definitely a big one because older groups I know a lot of older people that aren't financially stable compared to me and some younger people like Jalen. So I definitely think that's one of those family curses that's getting like broken and then improving on.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Scam Likely. What do you think that are some of the black family curses that we're breaking? Let's start with the ones we have broken first.
One of them is segregation. The younger the generations get, the more open-minded. Like you talk to them at 17, 15, 20, they ain't saying, man, the white man's got his foot on my neck. They ain't saying that dumb shit.
Yeah.
what is it? We all live in black community, black this community. No, we live where we live. And I grew up in a neighborhood that was black. But even still, you live where you live. Like the younger they get, they just blend. They just adapt. They got more access to information.
Okay.
What else are they breaking? Most of them are breaking the words I can't when it comes to certain. Well, I won't say most. The best of the younger generation is more dominant than the best of the older generation because they have access, they have opportunity. You can't walk up to them and say, and you won't hear the I can't in this generation like you will from 30, 40 years ago. It ain't even there. They ain't like, huh? What do you mean I can't? What? I ain't trying to hear that.
That's a bar, bro.
A lot of stuff is carrying on. So it's kind of a both.
Okay. All right. I definitely want to stay on what we broke first, though. Like I said, I think that was definitely solid. I wasn't even thinking about that. And to your point, Scam, I was saying that earlier. About my daughter, is that as an opposed to telling her what I don't want her to do, what I do is I encourage her to, and I'm instilling her with the things that she would like to do for herself, because that's the only way she knows how to operate. So it's not, she doesn't not do things because the daddy said not to. She's doing the right thing because she wants to do the right thing. Like the language has changed and how I present it to her. So the encouragement looks different than maybe I got.
Well,
but I also have a daughter. Yeah.
Question. The guidance, assuming you're around my age, how a lot of us grew up was more restricted.
That's a fact.
With belts and backhands and other stuff.
Yep.
And it was fear-based. That's
a fact.
Where you're approaching it from an influential standpoint. I'm going to guide you to get to the right direction. And it's open-minded of which you can be versus you got to do this because your grades, you got to get a job. You think that has a lot to do with it, which is a generational thing that you're actually breaking?
Absolutely, bro. I think that is that's a huge part as to why. I think that being aware, and like I was telling them earlier, Scam, some of my earliest memories are from like 4 to 5, like 3 to 5. Like I remember, I have very distinct memories, and because my daughter's 5, I think I'm a lot more mindful of what I'm encouraging in her, because I know that these are going to be the memories that stick, so to speak. So, I want to be even more intentional than I have been before, but I'm still waiting. I got like a 2-year window before I start molding, so to speak. I still need to see her show up as a baseline before I correct it, because that's another thing I thought that happened to us too, Scam. I think that we were proactively and in a preventative way raised for things that probably never happened, and introduced to things that were just, it was almost like it was a protective trauma that the generation shifted away from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was fear-based. I was kind of in the middle. But when my parents grew up, everything was fear-based. It was control, survival mode, and it was just baseline. There was no looking left, looking right, asking why. And what people don't get is when people grow up like that, they become the very slaves that they complain about.
Damn.
But during their main conditional developmental stages, they're restricted and taught not to do any critical thinking. They're taught not to. And then the person who taught them that tells them, why don't you think for yourself? And the answer is because you taught me not to.
Damn. That's a crux.
For us, it was kind of both. There was some of that. Then it was, you can ask why.
Right.
So we know why it's right. We know what's wrong with it, because we've seen I'm Gen X millennial, kind of on the borderline.
Okay.
So I've seen both sides. I felt both sides. So I can say what's right and what's wrong with both of them.
Got you.
And where it came from. And I also watched the whole transition.
Okay, that makes sense. That context makes sense.
And I love what you say of how you're saying that I love how you're presenting the being open-minded the open-mindedness of guiding your daughter through the whole world.
Right.
Without fear.
Right. Right, bro. Like I said, she is fearless in how she approaches things, because what are we talking about fear for? Like you said, I can't keep her focused on the things that limit what she can be, because the moment she gets the limit, it's going to stick to her like glue because she's never heard it. So I think that even introducing it in a way stops who she could be, short of her being anything as of yet. She's still a blank slate. So yeah, shout out to that little one, man. Brittany, we're still gonna break into family curses. What are some family curses? I know we talked about a lot of them. What are some family curses you think we've broken?
I think the only one that we didn't really speak on is just a lot of people these age are going to school and finishing and completing it. I know that was something big when we was coming along, you know, being the first in the family to finish school or the first to go to college or whatnot. So I see a lot of that being broken, just to add to what y'all already said.
Okay.
I didn't even think of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of first going to college to the point where the kids just automatically thinking college is where you go. That is true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that we had to get to that point too, to where, you know, the effort. I think that, to your point, Scam and Britt, like, we had the trailblaze and we were a part of the shift. I think we were going through the transition at a time to where we were young enough to be aware of what we didn't want, but still too young to truly course correct outside of being aware. And I think that it's kind of, we've held on to the awareness and now we're implementing what we saw and what we didn't like. I think before that, I would almost say that maybe a generation above you, Scam, it was more of the drill sergeant and the soldier. Your thought was a thought I put in you, and that's the only thought you had because that's the only one you knew, right? I think we caught the nuances of, wait a minute, I understand you doing it, but I'm also aware this shit, something about this ain't quite all the way there. Let's make notes. And I think we are self-correcting, though, to your point, Britt. Now, let's talk about the other side of this question, and we'll start with you, Brittany, since you answered last. What are we justifying?
I don't want to stick it out. Hopefully they don't be a whole nother. I kind of heard Jalen speak on a little bit earlier about the welfare and this Section 8 stuff. I think a lot of people that's on it, they kind of justify, well, that's how I get my, I'm gonna say bills paid, but that's how I get to live how I live is because of that. So I think some people justify it and don't try to see it as it's truly supposed to be to help you get out of the situation, not enable you and keep you there.
That's a good one. Scan, what you got, bro?
Solid people justify what they believe because they stand on it. Comfortable people or conflicting, confused people or whatever, depending on where they stand, justify. Sometimes they stand on what they believe that might just not be right. But then you have people who stand on, who justify what they want. Like, religious people who want to go raw dog in the street will come justify it with some, well, you know how men are, man. you know. Or beating the kids. When you show them 50 other things, like, hey, man, you're a supervisor at your job. You reward your employees and then go home and beat the kids. That's 50-50. Like, what do we? Well, I mean, you know them kids out there, these kids, man. So somehow you're the only one with a defective product. You're the one that created it.
Damn.
But if they want to stay the way that they are, or the person who's 376 pounds of the oxygen tank, well, I mean, we don't live forever. You ain't lying. You about to prove that. But if they want to stay there, and we're guilty of it, then they justify it. Versus, like me, I just tell you, I done some dumb shit and I still do. Yeah. I can't justify it. I'm guilty. All charges.
Right.
But there's reasons, or people justify as a defense mechanism, keep from being shamed or just receiving negative energy because they just want to be accepted and don't want conflict. So just go along to get along, say what they need to say so people can leave them alone in that minute and that they don't have to change.
Damn, that one resonated. I think I understood and tracked everything you said. That last one resonated a little different. You mind repeating it, the last one in terms of the go along to get along and what caused it?
It's easier to go along to get along. 10 people in a room, they're talking about doing something silly. One person comes, hey man, that's stupid. I'm not. They know, but they're like, on the left, what's right? On the right, what I can conform to and just be at ease. Most people will stay on the right. Or a form of quiet. Hey man, I got to use the bathroom. Some kind of way of conformity to not have to go through something or deal with something. So just go along to get along.
Damn, which makes it easy to justify what's currently going on.
Yeah, like, look, man, come on. You messing up the party, man.
Yep.
Deflected on you. Or, hey, man, let's talk about that tomorrow, man. Or,
damn. Okay. Okay. I like that. CJ, what are some what are some ideals, habits, or behaviors that we are justifying as a people? Can't hear you, brother. Can't hear you. Nope. They might have stopped back and come back in. We'll keep it pushing like it's me and you, Scam, until Brittany gets back, man. I think this has been a dope show. Like I said, Scam, I always appreciated your insight, even when...
You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now, bro.
Okay.
Let's let him answer the question. I'll get back to you, Scam.
Man, this might sound shaky or whatever, but I think getting mad anytime white folks they do something that they just automatically deem as disrespectful, and they also label it just racist, and they get overly, their reaction is just like overdone at times, just because the very thing that white person did, a black person has done to you 10 times over, but because it's a white person, you're responding to it more aggressively. Your reaction is like more intense because it's a white person. I think that's something that people try to justify, and it's like, oh, they're being a racist. There are times, yes, where it could be that, but then it'd be a lot of times that same shit they just did. I've seen a black person do that shit way more. All right. Where's the difference here at this point? You're purposely making a big deal out of it because it's a white person.
Okay.
I think that's something that people try to justify. They're choosing to react and rage more, like on fucking 10 on shit like that when it's not needed.
Okay. I like that. That's a good answer. I actually like that, bro.
I rock with that one.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one. That was good. But yeah, Scam, like I said, man, we definitely always appreciate you over here. He says he be trolling. Nah, Scam, I've come to appreciate his perspective, because it's almost as if when you speak sometimes that it only confuses those that find new questions in your answers. You have a way of answering questions that lead you to 2 or 3 more questions that are still relevant, which is why I enjoy it. But I appreciate you for not dusting us up, calling us dust mites, and making us rage quit. We always rock with you here, brother. You know the count.
Yeah, well, it's peaceful and it's a moving conversation. If it was a dust panel, you'd see my greatest work.
I appreciate that, bro. That always means a lot coming from you, bro. You've been around for a while, and this YouTube ethosphere, whatever the hell they call it nowadays. So that means a lot, bro. We're gonna keep it pushing too, man. I got one more question on emotional and mental truths, though. Yeah. So,
hey, man,
what emotions do Black people hide because of being policed or dismissed? What emotions do Black people hide because of the fear of being policed or dismissed.
How they truly feel about how their parents treated them, how they truly feel about how their siblings treated them, how they truly feel about that one best friend that's been your best friend since fucking day zero, and you choose not to say something to them simply because they're the best friend and you don't want to lose them. I don't understand that one too much neither, but definitely those, because there's definitely some shit that your mom said or did that really fucked with you 10, 15, 20 years later, and you still ain't said something to her. There's something that your dad said or did 10, 20 years ago, and you still ain't said something to him. I think, and I don't get why. I don't know if it's because of the title that they have that makes you choose to police yourself mentally, choose not to say something, because what the fuck, what's going to happen in return? But I know a lot of people, men and women, I can't even say it's more than the other, but a lot of them just having like friendly conversations where they'll tell me, like, you know, just venting shit about some shit that the mom or the dad said or did, that here we are years later, they still talk about it. So that means you've never actually addressed your parents or your siblings about these things. And it's interesting. And it makes you think, why? Why would you just tell them, you know?
Have you been on this side before, CJ? Just curious.
Been on what side?
The side of carrying something 5, 10, 15 years.
Nah.
You've never been on that side?
I'm an asshole, man. I told my dad how I felt about like slight shit between me and my brother. My dad's never done shit that made me feel out the way. But I did get on him about, there was a time where I felt like my dad was treating me like the better son over my older brother, and I got on him about that. But I've also got on my mom for the very same thing. Like, my dad has me, then it's my brother. I mean, well, not, he's got my older brother, then it's me, and we're like a fucking 6-year gap between each other. But over time, I noticed as a kid, but I didn't say since I was like 13, 14. But I addressed him at that age that, yo, I really be feeling like you be treating me like the better kid, and I don't like that. Because at the end of the day, my brother be acting crazy sometimes because of this shit, and I ain't with that neither. I ain't about to fight this nigga because you treating us like the fucking golden goose and an ugly duckling. And that shit got fixed. But I also got on my mom about that. Now with my mom, I'm the oldest of 5, and I still got treated like the better kid. So it was just like, no, that's some shit you gotta address. But there's people that have been in the very exact same situation that never did. And so now they got like backlash, or they got not backlash, but they got like what's the word? Resentment still built up years later for that shit. To the point that some of them eventually don't talk to their parents because of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Let's go Brittany and then Scam. What emotions do Black people hide because of, let's say, fear of being policed or dismissed?
I mean, it's probably what I've been seeing. The whole show is gonna be just being vulnerable, because again, for the men, someone might get dismissed because, you know, you don't supposed to be doing that. You know what I'm saying? So they probably just hide it versus open up. And then I feel like also, as far as women, some women, like, they want to be angry and want to say some things, but they choose not to because, again, they're gonna be policed and be like, okay, you need to stay in your place or whatnot. So those are the two that I got for you.
Okay. Scam, what you got, brother?
Number one is pain.
So good.
Most people won't say, like in relationship conversations, I failed. I don't know what I'm doing. Or I got a problem and I can't get the answer. They won't say it. There's women who are mad because Slick Dick Jimmy bent her over, stroked her out, and Ubered her to the streets 3 years ago. They still mad about it.
Got you.
There's dudes mad because Raw Dog Ronnie banged their chick.
We got you, Scam.
Yeah, he was simped and pimped out, drooling over, jumping out of second-story windows. Raw Dog Ronnie bent her over, stroked her out, just rubbed it around the edges for 2 minutes and left.
I knew it was coming, bro.
So it's easier to take the easy route and say what's wrong with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Easy route versus saying, hey, I got a question. I need some answers. I don't know it all. Or, hey, when I was 22, or the reason I'm mad is because this happened to me. or I had bad experiences with women's, men's, whatever. Instead of saying that, they take the easy route and start just coming with terror, blaming, pointing, or let's join with what's popular and beat up on the women's, the men's, or whatever. So pain, number one thing people are trying to hide. But truthfully, when you lived in this world and see things, you smell it from 100 miles away.
It's a fact.
Another one, identity crisis. Don't know. You think that we don't know that you don't know who you are and where you're going. You think we don't see you spinning around in circles. Like we don't freaking know. The content creators know. That's why they're getting your money.
Okay.
They the ones playing with the boat. They invented the game or got it from somebody else, and they just keep passing around. You go from here to there to there, and they split up the super. I mean, but you think, or in the real world, a stripper, a 25-year-old stripper, are manipulating whatever woman. They know who to talk to, and they see you coming. Most people are mad because they can't even get to play that game. Just damn. But you can't hide that. You can't hide from yourself. When you click this thing off, you got a mirror, and you can't hide. You can't hide from God either. And the other one people are hiding, where was it? It was something good too, and I can't remember what it was.
You gonna have Jalen come back and watch this and justify old men.
Oh yeah,
she's gonna drag that scam.
Because your memory.
I told you.
What's the story?
Bad memory.
What's the story? Oh, something about old and young.
Yeah, of course, because Jalen's a toddler and we're considered archaic to her. So
No,
so
unfortunately,
remember everything.
Unfortunately, as I think, a lot of times I'm thinking about 15 things at once, and sometimes I'll talk about something and just forget because I was on 5 other things thinking about them. It just happens. Damn. Be scatterbrained.
You cool, man. Like I said, those were solid points. I like it. Trying to see which question I want to go with next. This is going to be a layup, but I still want to get the context as to what you all think about it. Are most Black people healed or just highly functional in pain?
Highly functioning. That falls back on the survival question earlier.
Yeah, I know it's a layup, but I still wanted to ask to get y'all thoughts on it.
That's like asking me, the 6-time combat vet / recon deployer, hey, is all your gear still turning? Maybe. Like, is as long as I don't do the stereotypical thing that a combat veteran does, like spaz out, flip out because somebody sneezed and get PTSD, I'm technically a functioning psychopath, right? I feel like in every Black person's own little way, they all are like that. Most people don't do therapy, so they're really their own therapists. Technically, they just learn how to cope with it, learn how to hide it, poker face the fuck out of a 9-to-5 job. Yeah.
Damn.
You already know my answer. No need for me to.
I just want to know when you want to get a context, though.
I won't even waste my time.
Gotcha.
You know my answer.
Brittany, what you got? Are Black people healed? Are most Black people healed or just highly functional in pain?
Probably highly function in pain, and some of that pain has turned to numb, so they don't even feel it. So,
Brittany, they feel it. They do.
You think they feel it? They're just very good at hiding it, then, like you said a few minutes ago.
Strata, do you think they're good at hiding it, or you see it from 100 miles away?
No, you can always see it because I think that people scream at you all day who they are. It's just, are you listening? I think that it's almost like a dog whistle or a cry for help if you're tuned, right?
Right. But if only if you can hear it, or also only if you can see it. So they're hiding to the average person. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
To the masses, yes, they're hiding it, but to the people who can see, we know.
Yeah. That's the better.
Especially considering we can all identify. Ain't no super negroids out floating around here. No super mutant. We can all identify with pain one way or another.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Like that. Shout out to the voice of Venus. What's going on, love?
It's good, Venus.
Venus.
Shout out to Venus. I like that. Let me see. I don't want to ask no watchers who we. I got one more good question. I don't know if I want to ask the bonus one yet. I think we moved along. Yeah, we moved it. Like we've kind of floated through it. So I don't know if I want to go to the societal reflections. I think that's kind of similar to what we just answered. We're built on trauma or overcompensation.
Joy. What is our joy built on trauma or overcompensation?
So let me explain what I mean by that question. That's a good one because it kind of gave us the hum face. So is the joy that we feel as Black people, do you think we've built our joy in terms of where we come on being able to come past our trauma? So, the poems we read earlier, Mother to Son, speaking on the hardships, or is our joy built on overcompensating for the things that we've lacked for so long?
Ooh, that's a question. Man.
So we feel joy in the world. Is it based off of look at my war wounds that I survived because I'm him, or I got money and I'm gonna keep it in your face because I ain't broke no more? What do you think we see more of what our joy is built on from a person that is unhealed?
Probably about 50-50, to be honest. Because when you feel like, damn, I know a couple of folks here with trauma. I know a couple of, like, y'all gonna know I got money. Like, it's damn near 50-50.
Okay.
Oh no, man. I think
man, it's a nasty
my
question.
generation and younger, they're probably more so the overcompensation. Like the moment they get the money, they more so flex it and talk shit about it. Like talk shit like I got it, you ain't got it, you're never gonna get it. Like they kind of flash it, like yeah, I'm like that's cool, you got it, but don't be a humble ass nigga. Like don't be that ignorant motherfucker that's like, oh, I got it because you keep on, the wrong person gonna take it from you. But I think I've met like more older women. I'm not even gonna say men because I think men are some older guys are definitely the same thing. To be honest with you, I've met more older women, Black women, that they have a level of joy to see Black folks succeeding, and I think it's because of the idea of like seeing so many Black folks failing. So to see like, oh, a black boy making it, a Black girl making it, I see a lot of Black women, older Black women, right, really hype that up.
Okay.
So
I like it.
I don't know, man.
What you think, Scam?
That's a head scratcher right there, though.
That's a fact.
That's a deep question because people celebrate. You don't hear people celebrating, in which it should be in humility, where you don't require celebration, achieving certain goals that align with morals and values. It's unfortunate that we need those celebrations. And then when you get them, those are the very thing that they attack and tear down. That's a rough one. It's supposed to be achieving, celebrating somebody becoming healthier, stop smoking. I don't beat my kids no more. I don't rage out. I don't steal. I didn't cheat on my taxes this year. Or I'm now aligned with God. I'm now doing this. But then they accuse that when you think you better than me because I'm drinking it. So you can't even have that celebration, which a lot of people is desperately needed. But as people participating in a celebration, man, I'll beat your ass, monkey nigga. There's 5 people edging it on with cameras.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's relieving if you stomp this dude out or you make more money than the other person or whatever. It's almost like that's the thing to reward it, and you gain something from it, and really you don't. Now, if I'm trolling and dusting, that stuff ain't real. That's entertainment.
Yeah.
These platforms are a show. Y'all understand?
Oh yeah, of course.
But real conversations, tearing people down and flexing on somebody, especially if not willing to help, what do you get out of it? It actually makes you like, what was it, Drumline, where Nick Cannon outshined the section leader.
Yeah.
And then he told him, "Oh, you made yourself look like a jackass." And then he showed him up and told him, "You got to follow before you can lead."
Yep.
You don't, yeah. Shining is all cool and all, but the fact that you got to shine, what's really going on, bro? Why you can't just wear a pair of Etonics or some New Balance and just be cool? What's going on with you? Why you got to do all this?
That's a bar. That's a bar. I like it. I like it. I like
it. Strata with the deep questions.
Yeah, that was my last one for the night, bro. I had
You get banned from Dust Panel. They won't let you on.
They don't like this shit, Scam. I promise.
Yeah, you can't ask them over there. They like, no, let's stick to the women's and men's.
You know, I will fuck up some talking point logic real quick. That's become my forte. I gotta work on my poker face though, Scam. I'm getting better at this thing.
Yeah,
man.
I will say this though. I grew up in the uppity or a little better black neighborhood. 2-car garages, adjustable basketball goals. Everybody had a starter jacket. They are way more judgmental than anything you can think of.
I can imagine.
My God. I got it in me, and I'm still trying to get it out of me. It's deep in my own subconscious mind. I hate it, and I can't get it out of my own damn self. That's how deep it is. And then it goes back to the 60s and 70s uppity. Oh, God, you ain't seen judgment. So when you talk about the Pookie and Sam and little Sam and them, shit, you ain't seen nothing.
Oh, so the exception goes a little further than we like to give it.
Judgment? They invented it.
Damn. And damn. See, you gotta make me go into another topic. And I'm not gonna let you do it, Scam. You almost got me right there, bro. That was good. But I'm gonna put a pin in that because I want to bring that back. I think I can mine that out into a whole nother show.
Yeah,
I like that thought
continuation.
Though. Yeah, because I'm thinking, I'm processing in my mind. Yeah, we'll definitely invite you back, Scam. You know the count, brother. But this is the wrap up, man. I want you all to give. I know you came in on the back end of the conversation, Scam. But again, I want you all to give us a nice little bow. Let's put a pretty little bow on unmasking the lies and talking about the realization and the actualization of truth of Black people. And let's go Brittany, Scam, and then CJ.
My cute little bow is the truth will set you free. Live in your truth.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Scam.
You're hurting, and that's okay. You're hurting, and we know. You're hurting, and there is help. But don't be the one trying to cast stones. Because as soon as you raise it up, you're going to get doinked in the back of the head. Because they saw what you did 6 weeks ago. And the person who doinked you in the back of the head is actually falling forward because they got doinked in the back of their head. And people are going to be getting knocked out like dominoes. Then, luckily, if it's not one of my judgmental days, I can go in your house and pick up this stuff and go sell it on eBay. But no, we all know what pain is. We all know what identity is. Wherever you stand, wherever you are, try to get from a 2 to a 3, a 5 to a 6, wherever you are. Just that. Because the very people that might be criticizing you or you may think that you want to be, they dealing with the same pain or maybe even more.
That's a bar.
Just be better. That's all I got.
I like it. I like it. CJ, what you got, brother?
Shit. Be you, goddamn. Like, there's different jobs for different people, man. Be you. I get it. You might have to try to be a fucking little house on a prairie for a job interview, but once you get in that motherfucker, be you, man. Just be you. I mean, the only job I ever had where no matter what you really could have just really be yourself was the Army. I don't care who you are. They don't, as long as you fucking still follow their rules, they ain't give a fuck who you was. But as far as the civilian world go, man, just be you, unapologetically you. Don't put the thought process in trying to be something that you're not. Don't try to be a person that somebody else is like, especially that person that the version of that they want you to be is literally not what you want to be. It's different if you also want to be it. It makes it easier. But if you don't even want to be that, don't be it. Because now you're just catering to what they want and not what you want. And odds are what they want you to be is something that they wish they could be, but they can't. So just be you, only you, and don't fight nothing else against that.
It's a bar.
And anybody that try, fuck them. I'm just saying, man, I hate that shit. Motherfuckers try to make you be something that you're not. Fuck that.
I like it. I think, like I said, all in all, it's been a very productive show. I think it gave me a chance to really think 2 or 3 levels. Check.